It's written in Proverbs 27 verse 1, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." And it is also written in the book of James, chapter 5, verse, chapter 4, verse 13 through 16. "Now listen to you who say, 'Today or tomorrow we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business, and make money.' Why? You do not even know that will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, 'If it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that.' As it is, you boast in your arrogant schemes. All such boast is evil. If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and does not do it, it is sin for them." So, in the video title that I give, most of you or some of you have wondered, why do I talk about so much that you are not promised tomorrow? This is a testimony that happened December 26, 2020. So, after I got to Michigan, after major weather delays, I finally got to Michigan to see my grandparents, my cousins, and I didn't sleep very well because I wanted to make sure that I got on the plane. Anyways, I made it to Michigan, and while I was there in Michigan, 600-ish miles down here in Virginia, in Southwest Virginia, around 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the afternoon, which was pretty much sunset, night, all that stuff. Right after I FaceTime and call my mom, there was a shooting at the mall that I live close by, and the mall that my mom works at. However, also, I didn't know this for about 15 to 30 minutes, and while this was about to happen, the Lord kept my dad away from the mall for a while until the time was right. My dad's car, he owns a 3000 GT, a 96 Mitsubishi. His car, like here and there times, will have issues, and it wasn't starting. So what my dad did was he was fixing the car in the brick cold air, and he fixed it. And from what I could see at that time was, even now, the Lord kept my dad safe and away from harm's way until the time was right. And also, I will say that my parents could have easily been killed and murdered in the shooting that happened at the mall. I don't know, because this happened pretty much 4 years ago, or almost 4 years ago. I don't know if the gentleman that got shot died or anything like that, but all I know is that anyone could have gotten killed easily. And also, I don't know if the shooter himself got arrested. All I know was there was an arrest made involving that shooting. But easily my dad could have gotten killed, my mom could have gotten killed, and then my dad calls me crying his eyes out, saying that there was a mass shooting, which then I thought to myself, which Satan tried to induce me with fear at that very moment. When I thought there was a mass shooting, I thought there was I thought like multiple people were killed and murdered. That's immediately what came to mind. And around that time, Satan was really inducing people with fear and anxiety, because the Lord allowed him to, because it was 2020 around that time. And throughout that time, eventually when I really understood is my parents could have easily been killed. There have been times where I've been in my car that I could have been killed or easily been killed. Or even when I was learning how to drive, there was one time there was this guy in this pickup truck. He put his truck in reverse, and this guy was waving his fingers, screaming at us. My mom felt fine, but I was not. And easily we could have been we both could have been murdered at that moment because of road rage. There's so many things that I can just say that no one's promised tomorrow. And there's so many things that I could say from what the Lord has shown me, is that no one is absolutely promised tomorrow. Just yesterday, my aunt was trying to fly out of Southwest Virginia, but however, I don't know what flight it was or what plane company it was, but I know United here where I live has major issues, and there's always delays and cancellations. So I usually avoid that at all costs when I fly out of Virginia. But anyways, that's besides the point. My aunt wasn't promised to fly back to Indiana yesterday on time, and she flew out early this morning. There was a friend that I knew, even personally knew, that was in 5th grade, and I, here and there, watched him grow up. Some of you may not know him, but some who are from where I live and may watch my channel. His name was James Griffin III. And I don't know what circumstances led up to it, but he was murdered in a shootout. And also there was this one cheerleader girl. She was in the wrong area. I don't know her name, but I know she went to the same school as I did, as James did. And she was at a gas station. There was a shooting or a shootout there, and a random bullet, I think they said that it went in her neck and went out the other, and she immediately died. And it really made me think about this, because it's like I say in all these videos, no one's promised tomorrow. Even when I'm flying on airplanes, or riding in an airplane, I should say, I always pray every time the plane takes off, because you don't know if that plane's gonna crash or not. Because those planes that we fly out of Southwest Virginia are not modernized planes. Those planes are from the 90s, early 2000s. And what I just want to tell any of you is, don't think in pride or whatever that you're just promised tomorrow because you have all this stuff planned out and whatever. Well, God decides if this plan goes to fruition, and doesn't decide if the plan goes in fruition. Sometimes God intervenes and sometimes he does not. He is the one who decides to build you up or to put judgment against you. Jesus is a serious God. He isn't just this soft, loving, hippie God, as some may think that he is. And he's clearly not. So what I warn any of you is, don't think that, well, I'll follow Jesus later when I'm in my 30s or 40s. No, follow Jesus Christ now. Don't wait. There was a family member that said, Nicholas, I'm going to be living the real thing in a few days. And around that time, that's when I started to watch Andrew Tyner's or Warning the People's videos. And the Spirit of God reminded me something that Andrew said. I don't know what it was. And basically, this is what came out of my mouth. Why wait? Serve him now. And the person's look on their face was kind of surprised. And eventually, days later, this family member told me, Nick, I'm very glad that you told me that. And days later, that's when everybody got sick with COVID, or either that or we all were getting better from COVID and all that stuff. But anyhow, I just thought I'd say this because I make a good amount of videos of saying you are not promised tomorrow. No one is. No one's promised tomorrow. No one's promised the day that they're even in. No one's even promised the next hour. Like James says, your life is a mist. Here 1 minute and then the next it's gone. There's people that I know, even personally knew, or even just know because out of distance that I've seen in school personally, that have gotten shot and killed or even murdered. Or someone that I know that someone knows, that knows somebody that most people knew, and then they died. And it just makes you think that it's like, if you're truly not promised tomorrow, then it's why wait to serve Jesus? You need to serve him now. Serve Jesus now. I tell you this not just encouragement, but in warning, is that you need to serve him every single aspect and day of your life. He is a serious God. Don't take him lightly. He is the one that does not care about the flesh, but he cares about the soul. And he knows he knows what's in your heart. He knows if you're serious or not. Like an hour, you could be serious following the Lord, and then a moment, the enemy can slip you up and say somehow you die. Jesus will tell you, depart from me, I don't know you, because you didn't take the Lord that seriously. It is no exception for me or for you. And that's the same with any brother or sister in the Lord. It's that serious. And I'll give this example. I'm not sure if it's in the first book of Kings or in the second book of Kings, but long story short, to paraphrase it, there was a prophet who was told, the word of the Lord came to this prophet or this man of God and told him to do not go back with anyone or turn back around from the town that you came from. And then somebody said, hey, man of God, come back and eat with me. And then the man of God said, I cannot do this. I cannot disobey the Lord. And then this man lied to the man of God, saying, an angel of the Lord came to me and said that you are to eat and drink with me. And then basically when the man of God came back in the direction of the city that he came, and long story short, just did basically disobeying the Lord, the word of the Lord, then the word of the Lord came back and said, you will basically not be buried with your ancestors. And without the donkey being touched, The man of God was mutilated. The man of God disobeyed the Lord, and he had the wrath of God through the lion destroy him. But the donkey was untouched. So that just shows you how serious God is. He isn't a God of wrath and vengeance of the past, and then when Jesus came, he was a loving and teddy bear kind of God. No. If you look in the book of Revelation and you see that the wrath of God this and the wrath of God that, then that really makes you wonder and think, well, does that mean that he's just a kind and loving God for a time and then he's a vengeful God? No, that's not it. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And if you see what's going on around the world, and even in America, you see towns literally sinking in the ground by rivers. You see tornadoes ripping through areas. Even here at home in Southwest Virginia, next door in the valley I live in, Salem, Virginia, had a supposed EF1 tornado that went through there. I didn't believe it at first until I went there myself and saw the damage. And even today, there is still a shed lodged into a building that's not far from where I am now. But anyways, God is a serious God. Don't wait to serve him. Serve him now, because you are not promised tomorrow. Live as if Jesus is coming tomorrow. I think that's somewhere written in the Bible, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know that it was said about this in the past when I was younger. So I encourage you and warn you, serve him now.